I just wanted to let you know before we get into this Bizee LLC review that if you use one of the links from the services mentioned in this video, I may earn a referral fee. These links help support our work, but I hope this video is valuable enough to earn your click. So with that, let's get started. Bizee, LegalZoom, Zen Business. There are so many of these LLC filing services that it's a bit overwhelming even for someone like me that has set up a bunch of LLCs, and it's probably a little intimidating for someone who's starting their first business, but it doesn't have to be. Today, I'm going to focus on one of those services, which is Bizee. What do they do well? What do they not do well? And should you trust their services to file your business paperwork, especially compared with all the other services that are out there? I'll try to keep this as simple as possible so that you can make the best decision for yourself. As an added bonus, I'll also talk about whether you actually need Bizee or any formation service for that matter, or if you should form your LLC directly with the state. And look, I would love it if you would use my link and create an LLC with Bizee, but unlike the countless other videos that you're going to find on entity formation services that make it sound like you have to use one, you don't have to use an entity formation company to start your LLC. I've worked with many businesses to help start their LLCs, both with a formation service and filing directly with the state. And later I'll explain the differences between the two and even point you to my free guides at startup101.com that teach you the steps for starting an LLC in each state. This is your business, your money, and your choice. I'm just here to equip you with the facts so that you can make the best decision for you and your business. So, enough with that rambling. Let's get into the Bizee LLC review. If you've heard about Incfile or watched a video about their LLC formation services, you should know that they're now named Bizee. Same company, same service, just a new name that sounds maybe a little less corporate-y. At Bizee, they can file your new business paperwork from LLCs, EINs, licenses, and all that jazz. And if you're confused about which paperwork you need or don't need, this video will help. Stick with me for a few more minutes so you'll know what you need to do to set up your new business. First off, let's get into each of the packages. You have 3 plans to choose from, which include the Silver, which is free plus the state filing fee, the Gold, which is $199 plus the state fee, and Platinum, which is $299 plus the state fee. Breaking down what is included in each plan, let's start with the Silver, which is $0 plus the actual state filing fee, which is going to vary between $40 and $500 depending on your state. And while it's the most basic package, it actually offers quite a lot. It includes filing your articles of organization paperwork with the state, which is the form that officially creates an LLC. Included with this, they make sure that the name you want to use is available, which is important because each state won't allow a new LLC to register an existing LLC name. You can also choose to have Bizee be your registered agent. What is that exactly? And more importantly, do you need one? Well, a registered agent is a central point of contact who is generally available during normal business hours at a specific address to receive things like important legal notices. And yes, every state requires that an LLC have one, but assuming you live in the state of formation and are generally available during normal business hours, you can be the registered agent and save on that cost. And while Bizee offers a free registered agent in the first year, you will spend $119 after the first year to keep one, which isn't a bad price compared to many of the other entity formation companies. But even though some owners live in the state of formation and could do this, they may actually choose to pay for a registered agent service so they can keep their name and home address from being listed on the state's website as the registered agent. So the Silver package offers the basics. Now we'll move over to the Gold package, and this is where you would spend $199 plus the state filing fee. And for that extra money, Bizee's going to create the LLC, just like in the Silver plan, and throw in quite a few extra filing services your way, including the EIN filing, operating agreement, banking resolution, and a few others. Now, I know what you may be thinking. Do I really need any of these add-ons, and are they really worth the extra price? Well, let's find out. Looking at the employer identification number first, and this is a unique number assigned by the Internal Revenue Service that identifies a business, much like what a Social Security number does for a person. Single-member LLCs without employees are not required to have one, as they can just use the owner's Social Security number, but they can still get one. It's worth noting that the EIN is offered as an add-on service, so if you wanted the Silver package and only the EIN, you could register for the free Silver plan and then pay Bizee $70 for the EIN filing. Alternatively, you could go to startup101.com and learn how to do it yourself for free by filing directly with the IRS, and it takes just about 5 minutes. And I don't know about you, but saving $70 sounds like a pretty darn good idea when it only takes 5 minutes to do. But I tend to be cheap, so there's that. Next, the Gold Plan helps fill out IRS Form 2553, and this allows you to elect S corporation taxation. After the liability protection that the LLC provides, the LLC offers the most ways to be taxed than any other entity, and nobody likes to be taxed, but what's great about the LLC is that you can choose to have it be taxed like a sole proprietorship, partnership, C corporation, or S corporation. Adding on to this is that, within reason, you can change how the entity is taxed over time. Now, don't take this as accounting advice, but it's generally not worth electing S-Corp tax status until you are profiting somewhere between $40,000 and $60,000 a year. So, what you can do is stick with the default sole proprietorship tax status if you're a single-member LLC, and once your business is more profitable, you can change that tax status later. Otherwise, you may end up spending more on taxes in addition to the added complexity of filing an extra tax form at the end of the year. Now, please research this more or talk to your accountant before considering this, but while deciding when to do this is somewhat complicated, registering Form 2553 is free, and it's not very complicated to do. Next, we have the operating agreement. This is basically a written agreement to lay out the operating framework of the LLC. It will include things like the roles and responsibilities of the members, profit sharing, removing or adding a member, and more. And most states don't require one, though some banks will in order to open a business banking account. Now, I'm not an attorney either, but my advice here is that this document is more important if you have an LLC with members or investors other than the owner, because if a situation arises and there's a falling out between the members or some other legal action, the state has default rules for how an LLC is legally treated. And depending on the situation, this may not be in the best interest of the members. While a template like Bizee's can be fine, if you have multiple members or investors, I highly recommend spending the money and working with an attorney, as there can be very expensive repercussions if you get something wrong. The banking resolution is another form that's included with the Gold package, and since the LLC is a separate legal entity, this form authorizes which people have the authority to open a bank account on the LLC's behalf. You will have to have one, but the bank will normally give you one of these for free. Lifetime company alerts are another feature in the Gold package, and this just gives you a heads up when important documents are due to the state. This is a nice option to keep you from missing an important filing like the annual report, which most states require, but the state will send you a reminder notice too. Having an extra form of contact to keep you from missing this important renewal is a nice thing to have. And the last thing for the Gold plan is the free business tax consultation. And since the LLC can choose whether to be taxed as a sole proprietorship, a general partnership, S corporation, or C corporation, and it can be confusing to know which is the right way to go. If you have questions and don't have a CPA figured out yet, it may be a good idea to set this up and speak with a tax professional. My personal recommendation here is to work with a local CPA, but if you haven't gotten this far yet, this call should be pretty helpful in your planning. Last, we move on to the Platinum package, which adds a few other options on top of the Gold plan, and costs $299 plus state fees. And here you get the business contract templates. And while these may sound tempting to you now, there are only 25 templates included. And it's very likely that you won't use many, if any of them. So if you don't want to pay for an attorney to create your business contracts, I would recommend using a company that focuses on legal documents like Rocket Lawyer, who specializes in this kind of thing, and you can choose which ones you actually need. The Platinum package also includes free next day filing, and while Bizee isn't the worst of the formation companies slowing the paperwork down in their free plan, in hopes of you upgrading to a higher tier, you can get next day filing through this Platinum package if this is important to you. However, if you like the Silver plan and only wanted the faster filing, you can actually choose expedited filing, which the time and cost will vary by state, but will be a whole lot less than the $299. The last thing is the domain name and email. Look, almost all website hosts offer this as a core service. And like Rocket Lawyer, who specializes in legal contracts, I would recommend going with a company that specializes in the website stuff too. But if you would rather keep a bunch of services under one roof, I get that too. Okay, I've gone over Bizee's LLC formation packages, and unlike the many people promoting entity formation services on YouTube and maybe your favorite social media platform, some of them may be getting incentivized for maybe selling you on the higher price packages. In my opinion, the free Silver plan is going to work best for most people. The Gold gives you some extras that your business may need, and I get the value of the convenience factor for having these filings done for you in one place, but they are also free to do yourself, and I teach you how to do these over at startup101.com. Last, I think the Platinum plan is just too expensive for what is offered and would just pass on it, but if you like the add-ons that are pre-bundled, it might be the right choice for you. Now, depending on which plan you choose, there will be upsells. And as you may guess, the free Silver plan will have the most. And while many of these are offered in the Gold or Platinum plan, there is one additional service that isn't, but is really worth mentioning, which is their business license research package. This is a $99 add-on where they will research the federal and state licenses that are needed based on your location and what your business will be doing. Depending on where you are located and what your business will be doing, business licensing can be pretty complex because of the multiple agencies that you may need to register with. So if you aren't sure what you need, I go over a lot of common registrations over at startup101.com, but this package is an inexpensive way to double check. With the pricing and services out of the way, let's jump into what I like and dislike about Bizee. To get to the point, look, entity formation companies are in the business of forming business entities. They all do pretty much the same thing, and you probably aren't going to go wrong with the bigger names like Bizee. Every formation company has negative customer reviews about something not being done right or being surprised by a fee, but following my video, you should have a pretty good grasp of what to expect. But if you look online at some of these customer reviews, Bizee, who was formerly Incfile, is at the top. And at the time of this review, the Better Business Bureau gave them a 4.86 out of 5, and Trustpilot at 4.7 out of 5, which is higher than Zen Business, LegalZoom, and Northwest. For what it's worth, all of the small business owners that I worked with who used them had a good experience, and I would expect that you would too. I could go through a boring list of pros and cons, but one thing that I think sets Bizee apart from the competition for me is their pricing. Bizee offers a free filing plan that also includes a free registered agent in the first year. Other popular companies that also include free filing include Zen Business and LegalZoom, but neither of them offers a free registered agent. The $39 LLC filing service at Northwest Registered Agent, they offer a free registered agent in the first year, in addition to some extra privacy benefits that none of the others do. Bizee's add-on services are also among the best priced as well. For instance, a registered agent at Bizee is $119 a year, while Northwest is $125, Zen Business is $199, and LegalZoom is a crazy $249 a year. In comparison to the other free services, LegalZoom, while the best known, generally tends to be the most expensive. However, as you might guess, there are a few downsides. One of them is the numerous add-ons that are available. And look, I get it. The silver package is free, and they need to make some money to keep the doors open. That said, if you file with the silver package, you will get 6 upsells. This can get a little tedious, not as bad as Zen Business or LegalZoom, mind you, but if you aren't exactly sure what things you really need, you may get overwhelmed and then spend more money on things than you really need to. I think Bizee does a pretty good job of explaining the different upsells, but it does make the process take longer than I would like. Another knock against Bizee is that they don't have customer support on weekends. Zen Business does, with a Sunday service, and while this may not be an issue for you, it's worth noting if you are saving your weekend for launching your business. Also, the customer service people at Bizee, they're pretty decent. When I contacted them with some test questions, but I don't think they're as good as Zen Business or Northwest. So, should you go with Bizee? Overall, I think they are the best of the free formation services. Zen Business has some key considerations, but if you're looking for a formation service with a free registered agent and good pricing on their add-on services, I think Bizee is a great way to go. The best paid service, in my opinion, is Northwest because it's not very expensive and they don't upsell you as much. Plus, they offer more privacy for the owners. Moving on from the pros and cons of Bizee, here's an important question you need to ask yourself. Do I really need Bizee or any of these entity formation services? After all, you could just do it yourself and save a few bucks, but should you? So let's walk through this important decision together. And for full disclosure, again, I'm not an attorney or giving legal advice, but to form an LLC, you are going to file a form with the state. Many states make this pretty easy to do, and you're looking at maybe answering somewhere between 10 to 20 questions. If you go to startup101.com, and I'll leave a link to this resource, but I have free step-by-step guides for each state. It's generally not super complicated, and it's generally faster to file through the state than with a free LLC formation service, Bizee included. The downside to filing directly with the state is that A, some states make it unnecessarily complicated as their online process can be a little clunky, and B, they don't offer any guidance. I feel Bizee is pretty good at guiding you from start to finish, though Zen Business may have a slight edge with their longer process. I also get that filling out government forms can strike fear in some people, and if that's you, an entity formation company like Bizee will make starting a business a little less scary by handling a majority of the paperwork so you can be sure it's done right. So, in conclusion, starting your business with the right structure is important, and an LLC can be a great choice for many businesses. Bizee offers various packages to help you form your LLC. The silver package is free and covers the basics, making it a solid choice for most new small businesses. The gold and platinum packages offer additional services that might be useful for your business, but some add-ons may be an unnecessary expense. I hope this Bizee LLC review was helpful, but if you have questions about Bizee, forming an LLC, or anything business related, I'm happy to answer them or get you to the resources that you need. Also, I'd love to hear from you. Did you decide to go with Bizee, or did you go with the do-it-yourself route? And how was that experience? Last, thanks for watching. In addition to these videos, there are a ton of free resources over at startup101.com for you to check out and help you on your journey of starting a business. Till next time, see you later.